What's going on YouTube? So over the last few years, Mazda has been rapidly growing their crossover lineup. And when it comes to the very popular compact crossover segment, Mazda has not one, but actually two different offerings, the CX-5 and the CX-50.
And for 2026, the CX-5 gets completely redesigned. So these two are more different than ever before. So should you take the tech-focused CX-5 or the classic and rugged CX-50? That's what we're going to dive into in this video.
Out of the many available CX-5 and CX-50 configurations, we are comparing two models aligned around the same $40,000 price point today. And if you're looking to buy either one, make sure to check out carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price and access to invoice pricing information. Starting with the exterior designs, both models are immediately identifiable as Mazdas, but with their own unique personalities. While the CX-50 was likely originally intended to replace the CX-5, they decided to keep both options. The 5 with a sporty and sleek appearance, and the 50 with a rugged and tough persona. So while many elements, like the grills, are very similar, the finishes are different, especially with the use of gloss or matte black trim. We won't score the designs, which is a subjective matter, but let us know which one you prefer in the comments. What we will score are all the various features and differences, so let's start with the headlights. In typical Mazda fashion, these higher-end models will come with projector LED headlamps that are also adaptive. At the sides, despite the CX-5's growth spurt for the newest generation, the CX-50 is still over an inch longer. That, of course, doesn't mean the CX-50 will necessarily be bigger on the inside, so we'll discuss packaging differences later on in this comparison. The CX-5 has 1 inch smaller wheels at 19s versus 20s, and the CX-50 uses thicker cladding. Out back, the CX-5 is once again sporting a sleek design as compared to the rugged CX-50, but they share many of the same elements. That includes exposed exhaust, spoilers, rear wipers, and fully LED tail lamps, with a fading turn signal effect. As equipped, the CX-50 has the towing advantage, with a 1,000-pound advantage over the CX-5. Heading on to the mirrors, each of them features heating, blind spot monitoring, and the luxury touch of power folding. Beyond BSM, as far as the other important active safety features, all the systems you'd expect and more are included as standard on these two siblings. But the profound differences between these two really come into play on the inside, so let's get to that. But first,
If you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we have reviewed over 2,000 vehicles at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from humble to high-end, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. Approaching the doors, both crossovers feature smart entry systems and have the same key fobs as you'd expect. After opening up the doors, you'll find cabins that have very few similarities, despite being siblings. Let's start with the seats though, as always. One similarity these two have are the main features of the seats, which are both finished in real leather. In addition, they also have 10 ways of power adjustment, heating, ventilation, and memory as well. Next up, let's get into the broad category of material quality, which will divide into solidity and material selections. When it comes to build quality, both models are sturdy as you'd expect from the Mazda brand. And as far as materials go, they are above average for the segment, using mostly nice plastics and leatherettes throughout the dashes. But the new CX-5 has more hard-touch plastic than the last generation, including on the top of the door trims, meaning that the CX-50 will get the point here. Once you fire these crossovers up, the CX-50 has a partially digital 7-inch cluster, whereas the CX-5 now has a fully digital 10.25-inch setup. Above that, both of them will have head-up displays though. Moving to the steering wheels, we have leatherette-wrapped manual adjusting wheels with plenty of easy-to-use buttons. They also have rain-sensing wipers, but only the CX-5 has a heated wheel as equipped. Next up in our evaluation is storage, where we're going to look at both the console and the multi-use cubbies. Starting with the consoles, the redesigned CX-5 has improved the storage this year, which makes it bigger than the CX-50's console. Beyond the consoles, while space is about the same, the 5 has some updates to its ergonomics this year that allow for more practical uses, including water bottles that won't interfere with the climate controls. Those front cubbies both contain wireless phone charging pads. Both models also have a physical shifter, and in reverse, only the new CX-5 will offer a 360-degree camera system at this price point. Moving up the dash, we start to get into the biggest differences, starting with the climate controls. Both have 2-zone automatic setups, but the new CX-5 loses physical controls in favor of digitized controls in the touchscreen. This makes the older CX-50's climate easier to adjust while driving. Only the CX-50 has a physical volume knob as well, but they both have a 12-speaker Bose sound system. Needless to say, the audio quality is the same for these two. And now let's address the elephant in the cabin, the infotainment screen. The new CX-5 is sporting a huge 15.6-inch touchscreen on the top trim, which is quite different from the CX-50's 10.25-inch display. Functionality is also completely different, as the CX-50 has limited touchscreen ability and a control knob, which is all quite a bit more difficult to engage with than just reaching a small distance and touching the 5's screen. Also, while both share wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto abilities, only the new CX-5 comes with Google Apps built in. Wrapping up the front of the cabins, they both have auto-dimming mirrors with HomeLink remotes, and both models now come with panoramic-sized sunroofs. Now let's head into the back seats and the cargo areas, where we will discuss any packaging differences. As far as leg and headroom figures, they are all within the 5% margin to score a point. However, when it comes to our own knee room measurement, the CX-5 has much more realistic knee room, making the CX-5's back seats the more spacious place to be. As far as features go, the CX-5 has an advantage. While both back seats offer vent and USB ports, the CX-5 goes above and beyond with heated back seats too. Now let's pop open the power tailgates and discuss the space we have inside. The CX-5 adds hands-free ability for this new generation, something the CX-50 doesn't offer at all. Not only did the CX-5 grow for this new generation, but Mazda repackaged this popular model to allow for more cargo space as well. That means in both cargo configurations, the CX-5 holds a significant advantage over its higher digit sibling. That extra space would certainly be appreciated on a road trip. Features-wise, they both have cargo handles to fold the 40-20-40 split seats, and spare tires as well. Alright, we're done with the interiors now, but there are continued changes for the test drive, so let's take this fight to the streets. When it comes to what's under the hood, the CX-5 and CX-50 used to share the same two engines for many years. But for 2026, Mazda has removed the turbo option from the CX-5 lineup, leaving it with only the less peppy, naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder with 187 horsepower. At an equivalent price, the CX-50 offers much more power with its 2.5-liter turbo engine, besting the CX-5 in horsepower and 0 to 60 metrics, even with regular fuel. Easy as that. You've made it to 60 miles an hour with the turbo version of the CX-50. So throughout the years, we've always talked, very highly about specifically the turbocharged models with the Mazda lineup, and it's becoming rarer and rarer in this segment. That's a little hard to say. But there's a lot of options that just don't offer any type of high-powered versions anymore. And this really stands out with its 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. It's a 2.5-liter turbocharged engine. All right, that was our acceleration to 60 miles per hour with the 2026 CX-5. Now, as you can probably tell, it's not overly fast. A lot of the coverage that we have had in the past with the CX-5 has been with the turbo model, and let's just get that out of the way right from the start. They're not going to offer the turbo model for the new generation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we just have the standard powertrain today. It's a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder engine. It makes 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque. When it comes to transmissions, though, both models keep their old-school 6-speed automatics on board. While not the fastest transmission around, they are smooth for everyday driving and pair well with their standard all-wheel drive systems. Speaking of torque, I think that's a good point to move us into the transmission discussion. Our gas variants have a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, of course, as you probably know, most of the rivals don't offer a 6-speed anymore. That's a little bit of an old school type of transmission, but I think it works with the Mazdas because of the torque figure, especially on the turbo models. You don't need a lot of shifting because you have so much torque on hand. Pretty old school option. It's a 6-speed automatic transmission. I think Mazda is the only one doing that at this point, and it is lacking a couple gears versus a lot of the competition. At the same time, several of the rivals have continuously variable transmission, so you might prefer the traditional feel of the 6-speed automatic. But these two are Mazdas after all. So how do they fare when it comes to handling and ride quality? Well, the new CX-5's updates have made some big changes in these categories this year. Its suspension is significantly softer than before, which pairs nicely with its more comfortable seats. This means it's now in line with the comfort we expect for the segment, while the CX-50 remains on the firmer side of things. However, the CX-5 does lose some agility with its steering and suspension changes, meaning it's the CX-50 that will still be more fun to drive down a back road.
That starts with the suspension. Mazda's definitely tuned the suspension to be softer for this new generation. We've gone over some pretty rough California roads on this drive today, and it seems to soak up all of the bumps really well. You have most of those vibrations smoothed out, and it's also complemented by these much more comfortable seats for this new generation. Super happy to say these are more comfortable.
Overall ride quality is going to be pretty good. Now, I am saying pretty good because some of the other options in the segment definitely are more comfortable. This is a Mazda after all. They definitely have kind of honed in and kind of dove into that DNA of a Mazda being a little bit sportier than some of the other rivals. That's the case here. So you will feel more bumps enter into the cabin than the rivals like a Honda CR-V. I also want to point out that these seats are going to definitely be on the firmer side. That's one of the things that we noticed.
It's a good time to talk about dynamics because I kind of whipped it a little bit, and that's because this is a fun to drive crossover, and that continues to be something that really stands out a lot from the competition. Now, out on the highway, sound insulation is important, which is why we take sound level readings of every vehicle we test here at Car Confections. Scientifically speaking, most people cannot discern a difference of less than 1 decibel between sounds, which is evident in these readings. But we can't officially score this as the CX-5 sample was taken on a press drive in California. We're eager to test one back home in Kentucky to see if it truly is quieter than the CX-50.
Let's go ahead and get our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour. That's, of course, also important. .2 decibels is
very impressive. We've settled in at 53.9 decibels on this all-new CX-5.
Finally, let's talk fuel economy. Despite the power differences, both models are rated almost the same, meaning you'll only sacrifice 1 mpg combined for all the extra power in the CX-50 turbo. At this point, only the CX-50 offers a hybridized version, although Mazda is aiming to add one to the CX-5 next model year. While we won't be comparing resale and reliability for models from the same brand, keep in mind Mazda is above average in both resale and reliability metrics, and it will be covered by a 3-year 36,000 mile basic warranty, 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain warranty, and there's no complimentary maintenance. If it matters to you, the new CX-5 is made in Japan, while the CX-50 is made in Alabama. Now let's talk pricing. The CX-5 has a simplified trim lineup for 2026, meaning there will be quite a few CX-50 options we could have paired this Premium Plus CX-5 against. With double the trim levels of the CX-5, we settled on a base turbo model, which almost matches the CX-5 exactly in price. If choice in engine, features, or trim is important to you, there are at least 3 other CX-50s that you could configure to match this CX-5 in price. Nonetheless, these two are less pricey than many competitors, at around $40,000 as equipped today. Since there's only a $295 difference between these two, no value points will be awarded. So there you have it, the objective winner. Do you agree? Well, let's go over some reasons why you might pick each one so that you can pick your personal winner, and then we'll tell you which ones we would put in each of our driveways. I'm going to start with the CX-50. So some reasons you might pick that is the available turbo and hybrid. Those are two things that are not offered right now on the CX-5. Also, you have more physical controls for the analog abilities, and also you have more varieties and price points since the trim structure is more spread out.
Now, on the flip side, you should pick the CX-5 if you're looking for a better tech experience. It certainly is more upgraded as compared to the CX-50. Additionally, has more space throughout and has lower price points really compared to the CX-50. Now, we want to hear which one you're going to take down below in the comment section. And if you're looking to buy either of these Mazda SUVs or any vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you should do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool to use while dealership negotiating. So do yourself a favor and check that out at carconfections.com/newcarquotes. And while you're on our website, we'd also encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. When it comes to specific categories where one SUV in this segment is excelling over the other, you can break that down on our website and see the best options for you depending on what's most important, whether that be interior technology, cargo space, powertrain choices, or value. You can see all of that at carconfections.com/vehicle rankings, and it's a very competitive segment, so we definitely recommend checking that out to make an informed buying decision. But which would we put in our driveways?
I'll start. I'm going to pick the CX-50. Really, the main reason for that is just the ability to upgrade to the turbocharged engine or the hybrid, but especially the turbo. I really like having that extra power on board and enjoy driving that model.
Yeah, I think I would agree. If I'm going on the higher end, I'd get the CX-50 because it does have more to offer with the powertrains and drive experience. But if I'm going on the lower end, maybe I would pick the CX-5 just because of the better technology. And guys, that's where we're going to be leaving off on this comparison. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe down below to be a part of our Car Confections family. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. You make this all possible. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.